Welcome back to the Kosi Arsenal channel. My name is Kosi. Welcome back to a brand new video. Arsenal have been locked in talks with Sporting Lisbon over a fee on Viktor Gyökeres, and we have some very good news from that side. Arsenal and Sporting now have a level consensus when it comes to the price of the player. However, David Ornstein has confirmed that this season is going to be a fire season for Mikel. It's going to be under fire as the board is seeking for accountability after 5 years at the top of this Arsenal management. So Mikel Arteta is under pressure. He's got to win. They are willing to back him. They're willing to give him the money he's asking for this summer, but he's going to be under a lot of pressure. They want accountability. After 5 years, Arsenal board wants something in return. We are also going to be talking about the Saliba deal. Real Madrid have made their shortlist of defenders, and William Saliba is high up there with Dean Heason, but at the moment is considered very, very expensive. Arsenal are also working very hard to sign Andre Santos from Chelsea at the moment. Hit that button, subscribe to the channel as well. We have a lot of news coming in terms of Arsenal transfers, so make sure you tuned in, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button and tell a friend to tell a friend as well. But let's start off with those reports from Portugal that are indicating that a fee at about £60 million has been agreed between Arsenal and Sporting Lisbon. However, that doesn't mean that this is the final figure. This means that Arsenal and Sporting can, kind of feel a relief after negotiations that about 60 million will do the deal. Add-ons and the structure of the deal have not been discussed yet, but 60 million pounds is what we're hearing the Arsenal have to pay in order to get Viktor Gyökeres this summer. That's about 68 million euros. That's about 70 million euros if everything goes well. Of course, there are going to be bonuses. They're going to be add-ons, and the deal could drag until 75 million euros or about 76 million euros. But Arsenal expected going into this window that we would sign a striker between 60 million pounds to about, I think, 75 million pounds. Arsenal had the money. That's why we went in for Alexander Isak. We thought the deal would be done maybe at about 85 to 95 million pounds. And we were told by The Athletic that Arsenal internally thought Alexander Isak was a gettable and a doable deal, and it's a deal that we could have done for about 90 million pounds. So it means that Arsenal already had the money. They had the funds in mind that if a striker is available for 60 to 95 million, it would be done. For me, 60 million pounds for Viktor Gyökeres is an absolute steal. I mean, yes, there are reservations about the player that we have had, that maybe he's not got the ability to replicate the form that we have seen in Portugal. But listen, guys, I don't want you guys to worry. I don't want anyone to worry about the quality of Viktor Gyökeres. This is a market opportunity. Like I said 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, this is a massive market opportunity, and Arsenal jumping onto this shows you the level at which this club has changed. It shows you the magnitude of change in this football club, especially in terms of transfers and management. I mean, so many years ago, you remember Arsenal had big market opportunities, big opportunities, where we had the chance to sign players like Frankie de Jong. We had the chance to sign players like Matthias de Ligt. We had the chance to sign players like Vidal, and we never took advantage of those opportunities. But now Arsenal is really developing. We are becoming the big boys of the transfer market. We are doing deals up and down, left, right, and center. And I know many people still feel like, Arsenal really talk about so many players and never get many done. But that is the profile and that is the stature of any big team. If you're a Manchester United fan, you will be linked with millions of players. If you're an Arsenal fan, you're going to be linked with millions of players because many agents want their players to play for you. Many players want to play for you, and many clubs want to sell to you because you've got the money to purchase their players. So reports in Portugal are saying that's going to be 60 million to get the deal done. With add-ons, this might be about 70 million pounds, in my opinion, right? I don't think Arsenal get Viktor Gyökeres for just 60 million, because if we do it, and he comes in and he scores 30 goals, not even 30, and he comes in and scores 25 goals, right, in a single season, 25 goals. and we have signed him for 60 million. He's got to be the player of the season. He's got to win the Ballon d'Or, and he's got to win the signing of the summer. Because what good business that would be. And again, even if he doesn't score 25 in one Premier League campaign, but if he comes in and scores about 18 goals, and Arsenal win the league, and he scores those important goals at the Villa Park, at the Amex, at those very difficult, stadiums. Arsenal have done very, very good business in that regard. So for me, Viktor Gyökeres, 60 million, it's an absolute steal. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't like Šeško, I don't like Isak, I don't like Lautaro Martinez. I like these players. They've got their advantages as well. But for me, Viktor Gyökeres is an outstanding striker with an impeccable, unprecedented goal-scoring record. This guy has now marked 100 games for Sporting Lisbon, and guess the number of goals he scored? 95. 95 goals are the number of goals that he scored in 100 appearances. If that is not abnormal to you, if that is not impeccable, if that is not earth-shattering for you, then I'm sorry, football is not for you, because that is why we love football. Football is for us to enjoy these kind of these kind of gems, these kind of players that just give us something very different. And I'm not going to lie, for me, Viktor Gyökeres is that kind of player. So let's see if Arsenal can get this one done finally. Of course, there is competition still in the way. Couple of other clubs, like Fabrizio has said, are trying to push for Viktor Gyökeres. Anyone out there, if you're sporting director, if you're a manager in your right mind, Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, Newcastle, Man United, you've got to be very alert on this deal. Like, it's the cheapest deal for one of the biggest strikers that football has produced in the last 10 years. It's the cheapest deal. I don't know. If this was Alexander Isak giving us these goals, he would be 200 million. If it was Benjamin Šeško scoring this, if Benjamin Šeško is 90 million and he's scoring 18 goals, and this guy has scored 95 and 100, and I don't know, if Šeško had scored these goals, Šeško would be like 200 million, honestly. So let's wait and see if Arsenal get this one done and wrapped up. But I'm really, really getting these chills, and I'm really getting confident that Arsenal are doing the right work on the Viktor Gyökeres deal. Now, Mikel Arteta is going to be backed this summer. The extent and how it's going to be backed, I want you to watch my second video coming up at exactly 4 p.m. We'll be talking about how much Arsenal have given him officially and how much Arsenal could raise in sales, because Arsenal have told Mikel Arteta they will give him some money, right? And that will be revealed in the next video. But also, in terms of player sales, Mikel Arteta can sell players and reinvest in the squad. But there is a catch. Mikel Arteta is under immense pressure next season. Starting this summer, Mikel is going to be under a lot of pressure, as the body is willing to back him, the body is willing to give him all the resources he needs, but he's got to deliver. So there is no element of frustration. I want to make this very clear. There is no element of frustration inside Arsenal with Mikel Arteta. It is just that there is a feeling he's been here too long. He has spent about $1 billion, because by the end of this summer, he will have spent about $1 billion, or maybe 850 to 900 million euros. So they're saying if you've spent £1 billion and your squad is about £2 billion worth, you've got to produce something. And I think they're right, because Arsenal, Liverpool, and Manchester City have been on top of Premier League football for the last 3 years. And Liverpool have a trophy in those 3 years. Manchester City have a trophy in those 3 years. Arsenal don't, right? Arsenal have played in the UEFA Champions League semi-finals. So have Liverpool, and so have Manchester City. The difference is City have a UCL title. So they're saying if Liverpool and Manchester City are winning FA Cups, they're winning Carabao Cups, they're winning Premier League titles, and they're winning Champions League titles, we've got to have you bring those at home. We've got to have parades at the Emirates Stadium. And although I want to kind of feel sympathetic for the manager, I'm a fan, and at the end of the day, the only joy I'm gonna get from Arsenal is when we win a trophy. That is the only joy. That is the only moment of satisfaction I'm gonna get if we win a trophy. So, are they right to put Mikel Arteta under pressure? I think it's right time. It's right timing, right? Because this is the 6th year consecutively that he will be leading Arsenal. The first 2 years were about cleaning the club and establishing culture. The next 2 years, which was 4 years in, were about creating an identity on the pitch for this team. And I think last year or this season is when we expected Arsenal to really rise to the occasion and win. And I think Mikel Arteta was let down, and the board have understood that because they're saying we will back you, we'll give you whatever you need, but you're gonna be under pressure. You've got to deliver. We need accountability. We need value for money. So Mikel Arteta, that means that this summer is gonna be even more important for him than ever. The striker has to be right. The winger selection that we bring in has to be right. The midfielders have to be right. The defenders, if he wants any, they have to be right. We cannot say we have had injury problems. He's been given more money to add to that squad. We cannot say that we've had players out of form. That is why you're going into this market to sign more players. So it's going to be an interesting summer. It's going to be an interesting season for Arsenal. I mean, how many times have we said this? But this one is going to be different. With a manager like Mikel Arteta, who is already so good at demanding much out of his players and demanding much out of himself, I think this kind of pressure from the board is what he needs to get over the line. I mean, I'm not saying that if he doesn't win, sack him right away, but then we've got to consider a few changes, and Mikel Arteta's position could be one of the few changes we have to consider if we win nothing next campaign. Now, Arsenal are working very hard to sign Andre Santos from Chelsea. I reported on this one yesterday, and I said that Arsenal are looking at a couple of left backs, Ryan Enori at Wolverhampton Wanderers. We're looking at Gerard Hartzell. Mikel Arteta likes him, but Arsenal are working very hard, according to Chelsea sources, to sign their player. That is Andre Santos. The Brazilian is one of the left backs that are picking up interest from a couple of other clubs, including Borussia Dortmund, Paris Saint-Germain, and Arsenal in the driving seat. It is still unknown whether Chelsea would sell. It is still unknown whether Chelsea would sell to Arsenal. I mean, there is Dortmund, there is PSG. Why would Chelsea want to sell to Arsenal? Now, the truth is Arsenal and Chelsea have done business over time. Jorginho, Olivier Giroud. I mean, those two deals, you remember what happened. Then you have William Gallas, moving over here. And then you have Ashley Cole moving to Chelsea. These two clubs have always done business with each other. We also signed William from Chelsea. The only question I have is that, can Chelsea really give us a player that is so good as Andre Santos? They never give us good players. Chelsea will never give us good players. They always give us these ramshackle shenanigans that are out of contract, that are out of their best years. Those are the players they give us. But can they give us a young player, a player that has so much to promise for the future, and a player that is so good? Arsenal and PSG are fighting for him. We wait and see. Now, Real Madrid have produced their official shortlist for a new centre-back. As soon as they got Xabi Alonso as their new coach, he told them, I'm looking at that back line and I don't see anyone in that back line that I can trust. So I need a centre-back. And Madrid are already working. They've jumped into action and they've produced a 3-man shortlist for a new centre-back. This includes William Saliba at Arsenal as the top target for the future and present. That is frightening. There is also Dean Hewson at Bournemouth. He's one of the players they're looking at, and I mean, that gives me a little bit of confidence. If they're looking at Dean Hewson, maybe they're not going to disturb us with this William Saliba thing. But with William Saliba, Madrid is saying they like him. Presently, they like him. In the future, they will also try to get him. But right about now, he's too expensive. Dean Hewson, on the other side, wants to join Real Madrid over Liverpool, Chelsea, and Arsenal. I'm sorry, Arsenal fans. Not every player is going to want to sign for us. And That's about life. That is life. You don't get everything you want. So Dean Henderson wants to join Madrid. 50 million pounds. His release clause has to be paid in 18 months, but in 3 installments. So can Madrid could do that? Possibly. Fabrizio says that Madrid are trying to do the deal as quickly as possible, as the likes of Chelsea, Arsenal, and Liverpool will try to pounce. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. We are getting more news and more news and more news, and I'll keep you updated as quick and fast as I can. Just make sure that you're subscribed and just make sure that you are in the right place.